I just want to make sure first, is it okay for me to record?
Yeah. But you just
Yep.
write down the article now, right? Not post our video, not post, right? You don't
Okay,
post it.
usually I share the video on my YouTube,
Uh, okay.
which,
Can do I have to change my clothes or?
no, look, I write the article. This is for a written article, but I like to post the videos as well so that people can check my work.
Okay,
So,
I'm okay.
like, if you want to dispute anything that I've said that you said, you can go and look
Okay,
at it and say, you know what I
okay.
mean? So not many
Oh,
people view it, if anyone does, but I do like to
okay.
have it there, so you know. Okay?
Okay, so is it okay that I wear the casual?
I, it's totally fine.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Not a worry. Um, so firstly, can you just tell me a bit about what HAP Consulting does?
Yes. Okay. Let me introduce first. Okay.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mark. My name is Lily. Now I'm work for SAP Community Consulting as director of the South, and I'm in charge for business development for the agriculture sector, like the feed ingredient, corn, wheat, soybean meal, and some soft commodities like the sugar and coffee bean. And SB Commodity Consulting is a brokerage and a consulting firm. We in Vietnam now, we also do some progress like for the retail and the investor, retail investor can join the international commodity market like CBOT, ICE, because when you want to invest in some foreign overseas market, you have to get license from
Hmm.
the government, and we get the license so we can allow our customer to put the money and invest our overseas. Yeah.
Sure. So
And for the yeah
so
you
you focus on outbound investment, Vietnamese
yeah.
people looking at investing outside of Vietnam, correct?
Mm,
Yep.
correct. But only
Cool.
for the
Cool.
community. Only for
Yep.
community. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
Vietnam government they quite restrict for the outflow from Vietnam, outflow
Mm.
money from Vietnam. So we have to get license and clarify it's not laundering money or it's
Sure.
just for and hedging as well. Because Vietnam we import a lot. We are top five and top three for the corn and soybean meal for our feed industry, and
Hmm.
for the soybean, we also export the top two, right? The top two for the
Hmm.
overall coffee and top one for Robusta. That's why for us, the hedging on the commodity, the futures, very important.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Mm,
And so moving more into specifically coffee then.
mm.
So I guess the conflict in Iran started a month ago. Um, what sort of changes have you seen in the market because of that?
Yes. As we all know, the war already started one month ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, and for the impact to the coffee, the local coffee, so far it not have any effect, any not so clear, we so far we just got effect mostly from the price on the ice, the exchange, from the commodity exchange, like the
Hmm.
ice US and ice Europe. Yeah.
Hmm.
And but basically it also affects to the logistic, mostly I think the logistic fee, both local and overseas, because Vietnam we export over 60%, 70% of our production to the Europe, to the some to US, and China, the Asian market like China, Indonesia, and
Sure.
sometimes Brazil as well. Yes, mostly
So,
the US, the Europe still our biggest client. And
sure.
when the war started, it affect to our logistic fee because the crude oil suddenly goes up. It nearly double, right? The
Hmm.
price double. And although the flow coffee from the Vietnam or the Asia to Europe mostly just go to the Suez yes, Suez and the
Hmm.
red sea. So actually just take a longer, just a longer a little bit.
Mm.
Yes, a longer a little bit, and the logistic fee also high.
Sure.
That's why it affect to our input cost. Yes.
So, so who pays that cost? Do you pay as the commodity trader, or does the farmer cover the logistics cost, or is it the buyer?
Yeah, only for the trader, not the farmer. The farmer already sold their crop already. Just for
Right.
the trading companies, some exporter in Vietnam like yeah, Simeco or Fuxing or something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will pay the fee because when you want to sell something uh stable, you have to have a contract, right? The volume contract first, and later you will hand by hand delivery month by month. That's
Hmm.
why for us, and because of the price of the crude oil, it it goes up immediately, suddenly. We couldn't like what's say um uh, what's forecast that price into our input price. That's why we have to bear that price, not the consumer side. That's
Yeah.
why
Okay.
we get affect from that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
know now because the Europe, the demand of the Europe is quite weak.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us we have to find a way to boost more sales. That's why we accept that cost in the short term. But in the long term, if the price of crude oil keep higher, so we need to discuss again about the term of logistic fee.
Sure. You say EU demand is low. Is that all of the time or just right now?
Recently, the in last 2 years, yeah, in the
Last
last
two
2 years,
years. Why do
yeah.
you think that is?
Because we also looking forward to sell on other market like in
Uh,
China, in Korea, and in Japan.
yeah.
Not so focused on the European market. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. And I guess coffee prices right now they're quite low, and I understand this is not necessarily connected to what's happening in Iran. I've heard that it's
Mhm.
because Brazil is expected to have a really good crop.
Correct. Correct.
Is is that okay? And so I guess how are sort of the farmers responding to these low prices?
Mm, correct. Actually, we also work with a lot of farmer in the Central Highland,
Sure.
and most of them they still expect a high price. Because mostly I work with them with the Vietnam đồng, the price in quote in Vietnam đồng. So it is
Hmm.
okay for me to tell the price in Vietnam đồng, right? And uh, last year, the historic price of a local coffee is 135,000.
Mm,
Yeah, Vietnam đồng per kilogram. Okay.
yeah.
And now, and at that moment, a lot of people expect more than that. They say, it must be 150, 170. That's why this when we start a new crop for 2026 and 27, the stock in the farmer still quite high because they keep the hope that they will sell. Yes, they stuck with
Mm,
the hope, the expectation. And now the market dropped significantly from to 135, and the lowest until now is a 70 ish. But the market bounce up, and now the trading the market acceptable about the price from 85 to 90. But
mm,
they still because some trader, local trader, and the
sure.
farmer also stuck with the price range from 100 Vietnam đồng, 100,000
Mm,
Vietnam đồng per kilogram. That's why they expect the price can higher a little bit, maybe near the 100,000 Vietnam đồng, so they can sell their stock, the inventory,
mm.
and take the money back.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
that's
we have gap. Yes, because the buyer from the overseas, they expect the lower price, but the farmer they expect the high price. They can match. they can match, and even the
Sure.
middleman stand in the middle, they also can do anything, because the farmer doesn't want to they don't want to sell, and the sell the buyer, they have a lot of option to buy at that moment. Indonesia, right? Indonesia
Mm,
is harvesting now, and the next 2 months they will have the Brazil, Colombia, everywhere. That's why in Vietnam is quite, yeah, it's quite conflict between
mm,
the the farmer interest and the trader, local trader. And so far I think uh maybe now, uh sooner or later they have to sell the price as the crop, the inventory, to take the money back and be well prepared for the next crop.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I?
So I think maybe it still have lower price than now in the short term.
So you think it'll go lower, down?
Mm. I think it's
Okay,
still lower.
interesting. I wonder, do you, as a trader, have any
Mm.
sort of ideas about how you would go about fixing this problem where the
Mm.
farmers are holding on to their coffee for too long?
Mhm. Actually,
Like,
we don't think that, because it's their choice. It's their choice. So for us,
sure.
it's yeah, it we also based on the volatility and what happened on, because now all of the coffee in around the world also take
Mm,
the coffee on the ice US and ice Europe as a reference, right?
hmm.
And that's why we couldn't do anything. We just follow the market. And I think at some point, some farmer, they will give up and they sell, because if
Yeah,
they keep, because coffee also have the debt, right? If you keep
sure,
it too long in the inventory, so it wouldn't get broken,
sure. And
right?
so
Yeah. Okay.
I was just going to say, so like when you're talking to these farmers, what are they sort of
Mm,
saying to you? Like, where are their heads? What are they thinking?
mm. Thinking about the low price, or
No, I mean about having these stocks. Like you're out there and you're a trader, and you're saying this is the price you're going to get, or this is where
mm.
it is, and it's probably going to go lower. I mean, how? What do they say? How do they respond?
Let's say, okay, let just wait,
Just
because
right.
the last 2 years they take quite profitable. They have enough
Sure.
finance, yeah, now finance now, so they okay to wait.
Okay.
But I think in the next 3 months, Vietnam about to have a new crop, 3 or 4
Okay.
4 months, next 4 months. But now we
Sure.
will focus more on the Brazil crop. That's why we also get the pressure from that. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, so far we still, maybe the price still lower, and then maybe they still keep the inventory in their stock. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Cool. And so I just wanted to return to the Iran conflict again. I wanted to ask about fertilizer.
Correct.
Um, are you seeing that having a big impact, an increase in cost there?
A big, really a big, a huge impact. Yes, because Vietnam has the biggest yield for the
Yeah.
coffee robusta in Asia. We
Mm,
have, we have nearly double yield compared to the Indonesia farmer, because we use a lot of the thanks to the we have the upgrade the technical for the plane, like match a lot of kind of plane. That's why it had a better yield. And after we also use a lot of the fertilizer. And now
sure.
we just Vietnam crop just passed the flowering, and now it's focused more on how to put the yield, and they will use a lot of the fertilizer. And now the I think the fertilizer is the key point, the key problem to the farmer, because this year we uh, you see the Hormuz is account for 30% of the fertilizer from over the world. And
Mm,
now even the China, last week they also informed that they will stop to export the phosphor for fertilizer. And overall,
Mm,
the fertilizer now is quite tied to the world, not only to the Vietnam market. That's why I think the high fertilizer of this crop will also affect to the let's say cotton bushel, the cost of the cotton planting the bean, the coffee bean. I think higher.
sure.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting because you've got an increasing input costs at the same time you've got
Yes.
very low prices. I would
Correct.
imagine this is a very big strain on a lot of
I
farmers.
know, but sometime, sorry, but
Yeah.
30 years ago, 30 years ago, Vietnam
Hmm.
price the local Vietnam coffee bean only 30,000 Vietnam đồng. thirty
Okay.
thousand Vietnam, yeah. So
Sure.
now in 90 it's still triple. So somehow it even the market go a half like 45 or 60 something like this. They still have just a thin margin.
Hmm.
And in the last 3 years, there's a Swiss growth between the coffee bean and the durian. Have you heard that?
I have heard
Yeah.
about this. Yeah, go on.
Yes. That's why now, and because the coffee bean now recently in last 2 years the price goes up again, right? It attract a lot of farmer go back to the market, and now that's why
Sure.
they couldn't get out of the market immediately. They keep working with the current one
Sure.
until I think so far it not affect to the supply anymore or the coffee as all the decision apply. I will not plant the coffee more in the next year or something like this. The coffee is a long plan. You don't have to reduce it every year. It's
Yeah.
just a plant and fertilizer and some water and you harvest again. And that's why for me, although the input cost higher and the
Mm.
coffee bean lower, they still have to do the work
They still have to stay with
at
coffee.
least I think at least 2 or 3 years. The next yes.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Because that was my next question was if you thought
Mm,
the crops would end up being smaller moving
mm,
forward, but it sounds like you're
I
saying that's
understand.
not
Yeah,
really an option.
correct. Because now the durian price also dropped,
Yeah, okay.
but somehow the coffee is still better than durian.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
why is
yeah.
that?
Sorry.
Why is that? Why is the coffee better than the durian?
Because we got a lot of compete from Thailand, from China, and
Ah,
China is the biggest consumer, biggest client durian in Vietnam, and now
sure.
China they also have their own durian. That's why it
Yeah.
also affect to the Vietnam market.
Okay, cool. All right. Fantastic. That's basically all of my questions. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Anything you think I've missed? Any other important factors that?
But I just want to know. So, what is your name of your article? Like, what you want about? Like, you want to know, share to your audience about how the war Iran Israel affect to the coffee in Vietnam, like this.
Yeah,
Mm,
basically, yeah, it's going to be how the coffee industry is being impacted by the
yes.
conflict in Hormuz.
Mm. I
Um,
think overall your question is it's covered already covered. So
yeah, I
far
think
I
so.
think it's good. Yeah.
All
So
right.
if you finish your article, can you share to me and I can share to my customer as well.
Yeah, of
Mm.
course, I'd be more than happy to. Uh, yeah, I think it will be in the next couple of days. You're my last interview, so yeah, now I just need
Okay.
to sit down and write it.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Nice to meet you. So if you have any plan to go to Vietnam, contact me and we have to grab a coffee and update more
For
about the
sure.
market.
Next time I'm in Ho Chi Minh City, I'll get in contact.
Okay. Good. Good.
All right,
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Noel.
Okay. No problem. You're
Bye.
welcome. Have a
Bye.
nice day. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.